The Presidential Campaign Council of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, has reacted to Monday's presidential campaign flag-off of the opposition People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, describing it as a disaster foretold due to the absence of 5 key governors led by Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. Director of Public Affairs and Chief Spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, in a statement, says the launch of the PDP's presidential campaign in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State was a disaster waiting to happen. He adds that it was populated by expired and rejected politicians. Keyamo said a flag-off campaign that was shunned by the PDP National Vice Chairman of the South-South, Southwest, and 5 sitting governors out of 13 is a definitive and resounding red flag that Nigerians should not vote the presidential candidate of the PDP in this coming election.
Well, joining us now in the studio is a spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Charles Aniagwu. He's also the Commissioner for Information in Delta State, South Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you want to react to that statement by Festus Keyamo. I mean, does it not make a valid point to say out of 13 governors that the PDP holds at the moment, 5 were missing in action at that flag-off in Uyo? How do you respond?
Let me start by telling you that the height of drug abuse is when you decide to take Panadol on account of another person's headache. That is drug abuse, because no matter how much the quantity of Panadol that you're going to take, it's not going to stop that headache that that person has. Now, coming to the issues. As a party, we have made it very, very clear that we stay with the issues because we know what affects Nigerians. We are not going to go down the way the APC is going, particularly my very elder brother, who is an SAN, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Each time you watch or listen or try to go to his tweet, you see things that actually not the way they should. Before the elder statesman made it clear that we needed to deal with the issues of staying with the issues, our presidential candidate and his running mate has made it clear that as a party that we're going to stay with those issues.
Right.
There are issues that affect Nigerians. In Uyo, you have a whole lot of party supporters and those who are sympathetic to the PDP cause assembling. You recall the last time I came here, we made it very, very clear that our train has left the station. But as we move on in the course of this journey, we will be very much willing to stop at different stations to pick up different passengers. Some of these passengers will be individuals who, of course, will have to be in charge of certain coaches, while some of these passengers will remain as passengers in those coaches. And so for my brother to continue to say that you have expired persons, and yet you are aspiring to lead the country. If you are aspiring to lead the country in their own party, are they saying that they are contesting to go and lead over expired Nigerians? No Nigerian is expired. We believe that every Nigerian is important, irrespective of the political party you belong to. We believe that we don't need to insult ourselves for us to be able to address the many challenges confronting our country. Nigerians have gone through a whole lot of stress. For any political leader at this point to want to begin to insult other Nigerians, whether they belong to political parties or not, means that he is not aware of what Nigerians are going through on account of the mismanagement of this country, particularly in the last 7 years. And so we are not going to join issues with my very good brother who is also from Delta State. I'm sure you remember the last time I came here, I apologized on his behalf when he said that he's very proud of the fact that Nigerians are dying in their numbers. And I said, no, that is not who we are in Delta. We don't take pride in the death or the pain of other people. We do not belong to any club where we begin to rejoice because other people are pained. When you are pained, as a people in Delta, we are also pained because we believe that we are our brother's keeper. In PDP, when people go through stress like Nigerians are going through at the moment, we are pained that they are going through that stress. So we cannot join issues with Festus Keyamo because doing so means that we do not appreciate the fact that Nigerians are going through pain. There are issues that are very clear. And as a political party, we will stay with those issues and continue to tell Nigerians what we are going to do to reverse it. So we will not go down low with blame.
Great. And those issues are what we'd like to interrogate. Of course, Atiku reeled out a number of things at the kickoff of the campaign right there in Uyo on Monday, of course, yesterday. Vote PDP to rescue Nigeria from poverty, hunger, and bad governance. We had a chat around the PDP, kickoff yesterday, messaging yesterday. And one point that was made was, look, it's time to change the messaging. It's time to change the narrative from what Nigerians have been hearing before now. We'll fix roads, we'll fix electricity, and. What is that fresh message or messaging that Atiku has that can inspire hope in Nigerians to say, look, come 2023 as we go to the ballot, they're putting, their finger to vote for Atiku?
Any good message that you want to give out now must be able to address the challenges of the moment. And we have identified those challenges.
Right.
If you begin to say because you want to play to the gallery and begin to now talk about messages that do not speak to the issues that the people are facing, it means that you are giving somebody Panadol for a sickness that possibly will require another drug. Each drug is prescribed to deal with a particular ailment. Now, what are the ailments that we're having at the moment? We're having that ailment of disunity, not trusting one another as a country. So disunited. And what do we need to do? Our diversity, which ordinarily should have been our strength, have become our weakest point. And so we need to be able to strengthen that diversity and bring us together where we now begin to function as Nigerians and not just as people who are just tribesmen, which is what we have at the moment. So we cannot leave that issue of having to unite Nigeria, which is the main issue. Because it is from there, the moment you unite Nigerians, would have been able to also deal with a number of other issues, particularly the issue of bringing back the jobs to the people. For you to be able to bring back the jobs to the people, you need to fix the economy. That means you must put all hands on deck. But for you to now also be able to bring back the jobs, you need to, having addressed the issue of the disunity that exists today, tackle the issue of insecurity. Atiku says we need to bring back the peace. Because when you have peace, you cannot speak to the issue of development. You can see we are not looking for those things that will sound so just nice to the ear. Atiku have been able to look at what the challenges are and says, no, these are the challenges confronting us today.
Yeah, I doubt very much if Nigerians just want to hear, niceties, nice sounding.
Don't forget we have also outlined the how.
Great. And my point is, how do you convince Nigerians to vote PDP in a way that will give you the opportunity, the platform to be able to, execute?
Thank you very much.
Changes.
I must even appreciate you. When I mean you, I'm talking about the Arise TV and of course through you to other media houses that have continued to interrogate the issues as it affects Nigerians and of course from where the political parties are coming from. We have from beginning demonstrated that we are indeed very much willing to deal with this patient that is in intensive care unit. In terms of the preparedness that were put on the table, in terms of how we are continuing to deal with the issues, now we are very busy interfacing with our people, particularly what we did in Port Harcourt yesterday with our people in the South Side geopolitical zone. What did the other party do? Instead of them planning how they are going to also interface with Nigerians, they are very busy calling people termites and calling them all sorts of names. And these are the same people you are aspiring to want to go. Okay. That tells you preparedness. But beyond that, the issues we have identified in our own policy document, which is our manifesto, is very, very germane because it speaks to the challenges that Nigerians are facing. And we did not only identify them, we have also been able to address the how, which speaks to the question that you just threw at me a while ago. On the issue of the diversity that we have today, Atiku says these are the things that were not done. What were those things that were not done? That we don't have all Nigerians on the table at the point of decision making. Which means, if for instance you have a family where you have a female and a male, the child and the mother, you should be able to galvanize the existing energies in these different persons for you to be able to deal with the challenges that may confront that family in form of division of labor. And that you have talents that exist across the different geopolitical divide. Atiku says we will no longer give appointment on the basis of religion, on the basis of ethnicity, on the basis of friendship, or on the basis of who know who. But that what he did while he worked with Obasanjo is to identify the likes of the shining stars that we have today. There were two persons who have not had the privilege of being a vice president today that were given the very prestigious honor of a GCON. And you know those two ladies. Obasanjo, Atiku were the ones that discovered them because they had quality that they were going to bring to the and they brought that quality in the course of the first 16 years of the PDP administration. So we will do that as a party and not to begin to refer to Nigerians as termites.
Great. You made that point. Two things that you have said I want to take you up on. Interestingly, you talk about disunity and how to unite Nigeria. a lot of people will say perhaps charity should begin at home. That's the problem your party is facing at the moment. When the senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, talks about 5 governors not being at your flag off yesterday, you also refer to Nigeria as a country in the ICU. Some will also say your party, the PDP, played a role in sending Nigeria to the ICU for the first 16 years which you ruled. So are you throwing blames? Are you not taking responsibility for some of these problems you are outlining? And how do you unite Nigeria when you have not united your party?
Well, now let me start on the issue of what we are doing, not only to unite our party, but to position our party to also unite our country. And I'll give you an example. I'm a Christian. I will also go into the Bible. Jesus Christ, the author and finisher of our faith, is a man that had 12 disciples. One of them, his name is Judas. He betrayed him. That does not in any way speak to the way that Jesus Christ does not have the ability to unite his disciples. That does not in any way reduce his ability for him to be seen as the holiest of holies in Christendom. Abdul Muttalib, a man I respect so much, had a son. He trained him and then even decided to give him the opportunity that most Nigerians will not have. He sent him abroad to be able to study and study very well. The son at the end of the day became the underwear bomber that we know of. That does not in any way reduce the effort of the Abdul Muttalib to have been able to give his child the best of education. That Atiku Abubakar is taking a whole lot of efforts to unite members of the party does not mean that you could not see once in a while individuals who may not move in at the same time. I have said earlier that our train has moved, but we are not going to lock the door and leave everybody behind. Right. We said for each station we will stop and we will be very much willing to pick up new passengers, including those who at the moment may be a little reluctant to join. That means that even after winning election, we will continue to pick up these individuals. We will not behave like the other party that is calling their members who disagree with them names. Democracy gives that latitude for individuals to disagree. Now, coming to the issue of the ICU. In 2015, even up to 2014, as far back as 2014, 2015, the Nigerian economy was growing faster than any of the economies in Europe. You can go and check the records. That cannot be said to be a country that was in the ICU unit. But what you have today is that most persons have lost their job on account of their inability to manage the economy. There were challenges in 2014. We will not run away from that. One thing we want to do as a political party is that we are going to come through to Nigerians. If anybody talk about that 16 years, we will own it up with our full chest and tell you the many things we did in that 16 years. But those of the other party that is in power today, one thing they are doing is to run away from their records. Whenever you ask them, they will take you to Lagos. Lagos that is not even functional. That's where they take you to. They run away from their records. We will not, as a political party, run away from what we did in the first 16 years. All right,
we'll have to leave it there.
Because there were many things that were done right in that 15
Charles
years.
Aniagwu, thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight. Of course, we'll have many opportunities to sell your party on the show.
Thank you very much.